All right, we are going live. It is 4 p.m. over on the eastern side of things. And I have a special guest for you guys. Welcome, welcome everybody. All right, my guest today, and I'll even say that right at the beginning, she has some goodies she wants to share with you guys. So if you're tuning in, I will let you know how you can win the giveaway. So our guest is Carla De Rosa, and she is a wellness rock star. She is a certified food medicine educator and raw food instructor based in Atlanta. She has unmatched skills in providing comprehensive training and alternative healing modalities to facilitate natural healing and wellness. Carla began her career in food medicine in her 40s in response to her own health crisis in 2010. She received training from the award-winning Living Food Institute founded by Brenda Cobb, who reversed her own breast and cervical cancer herself. After training many families and individuals in raw food preparation, she returned to the Living Food Institute as the kitchen director for several years. And Carla now hosts full immersion healing retreats, teaching cleansing and building strategies through raw food, herbs, meditation, and yoga. As a student of the work of Dr. Ann Wigmore, Carla has helped hundreds of individuals detoxifying and simultaneously fortifying the body with macronutrients. Using wild greens, living sprouts, wheatgrass juice, raw food, cleansing water used to remove solid waste in the colon, and many have found renewed vitality immediately, and they have continued on the path to reclaim their health. So Carla has combined her love for engaging and teaching with her passion for supporting people to heal themselves, her quote is, "We each have only one physical vehicle in which has to deliver a lifetime of experience. So we must fortify our bodies in order to do what we have come here to do." I really like this quote. So now her raw food and plant medicine events, retreats, and books and products introduce the use of raw food, herbs, oil, supplement, and fitness to health seekers and their families from all over the world. She has virtual and in-person classes, and she is here with us today. So guys, welcome, please welcome with me Carla. And Carla, thank you so much for agreeing to come on my live show, my interviews, and I'm so happy that you are here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Delianne. I appreciate the opportunity to meet your friends and to talk about my passion.
Yes, I'm so excited because we actually like the same type of things, and so I actually heard about you through the Living Food Institute. I went over there guess a year ago, and I did a detox, and I saw your book, and I believe you came in at one point to because they were going to have the gala there, and I just saw you in passing. But I've heard so many good things about you, and so I said, you know what, I need to have this lady Carla to come and talk. Because I went through your books, and I to your book, the Rockstar book, and I really felt like you had really good information in there, and I am passionate about health, and I love raw food. I didn't think I would, because I don't really like cold stuff, but it's not necessarily cold, and it's so good and so energizing. So thank you for being here. Show us your book, that your books that you have that we are going to give away, guys. She wants to actually send you guys free stuff. So
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Right. So two books I'll give away today, and one is Rock Your Life, and this is 21 plant-based recipes. So people are interested in going plant-based, and all of them happen to be raw. Then this is a great primer to get you started, and it's 21 recipes. So I say, wow, if you do one a week, like in 5 months, you'll be pretty raw. And this is Awaken Your Inner Goddess Travel Retreats and Wellness Vacations to Heal You. So this book also contains a detox, and I talk about just different spiritual practices that we can combine with whether they be travel vacations now in this climate, staycations, but just rituals to take care and heal our bodies and our minds.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So guys, and I'm going to repeat that a few times throughout the video, but the giveaway is, the rule is simple. The person who tags the most people in the comments gets the book. Okay. And then the second giveaway is going to be, you have to tag the most people throughout the week. So first giveaway, I want to see who is going to tag and how many people you're going to tag in while we are live in the hour, and you're going to receive the first book. Okay. So let's just dive right in. I want you to tell us about, your story. You said in your 40s is when you really made the switch. But what happened? What were you doing before that? Just tell us more about you.
Sure. So first of all, I'll go way back. So
Okay.
I was
Okay.
born a colicky baby. Have you ever heard of that? Colicky
Yes,
baby. So
I
many
had some of
babies
them.
are, you have some.
Yes.
So many babies are born colicky. It's like they have their formula or they nurse, and then all of a sudden they're bloated, they're sick, their stomach is upset, and they're up all night. That's their signature. They cry, they're up all night because they're distressed. And that was me. So I was born with this sensitive tummy, now I call it. And in all my life, it just impacted me. It impacted me in high school, growing up, working. I missed so many days going to work, and I never knew what it was. And then after I become a mom and I'm in my 40s, I get to a point where it's like a health crisis. I started gaining weight, retaining water. I was listless. That was the main signature feature. I was sleeping like 20 to 21 hours a day. And I really couldn't even
Wow.
take care of my children. And they were very young at the time, like 4 and 5. And so it was very distressing. I went to doctors. They really couldn't tell me what was going on. One GI doctor said, oh, okay, we're going to have you swallow radioactive barium. We're going to do an upper and lower GI. We're going to poke around and look around and all this. And I'm like, okay, so what do you think it is? He's like, I don't know. I was like, oh, no.
After all of this, no clue.
Exactly. He had no idea what he was even looking for. And I said, wow, if he has no idea, I kind of have an idea, because I know that when I ate certain foods, it would upset my stomach. But I just couldn't differentiate what it was. And I started doing some research. I found this book called The False Fat Diet. And it was by a doctor who's actually an allergist. And he helped people do what I learned was an elimination diet. So he's talked about 7 deadly foods: wheat, soy, corn, sugar, meat, and there's 2 more I'm blanking on. But anyway, the 7 deadly foods. So, like you just eliminate one thing per week, and then 7 weeks, you see what happens. And I did it and I felt great. But the only thing was, I was like, wow, I'm just eating apples and lettuce. So
Right.
I don't
That's why
know that.
I was thinking that. So you took out everything.
I'm like, I don't know. And it's funny because I was already plant-based. I had been plant-based since I was in college. So, so in my mind, I was already eliminating, chicken, beef, pork, and all that. So I'm like, wow, like, I don't know if I could survive like that. And you know how the universe works, you know how God works. As soon as I said that, then I found out about the Living Foods Institute. And as soon as I just inquired a little bit about the Living Food Institute, then an opportunity opened up for me to go. My kids had never been away from me. And so my mom said, I'll take the kids. So I came to the Living Foods Institute, very much like you did. And I thought I knew a lot about nutrition. And because I was plant-based. So I never had an idea that I was more of a pastatarian than I was a vegetarian, that I was a
Here, here.
breadaholic. Like, I didn't realize that that wasn't really plant-based, that I was really eating more grains than anything. And it might have been part of what was bothering me. So fast forward, I go through this amazing journey of just eating all raw food for 10 days, detoxifying my body, putting things in my butt and cleaning out my colon. And I'm like, whoa, this is deep, taking all these herbs and tinctures, learning how to use healing oils on my body. And after 10 days, I was like, wow, I'm going to continue this. And then 4 months later, I was 60 pounds lighter and I had no symptoms. Like 90% of the gastric symptoms that I had that plagued me. I mean, plagued me, like sitting in an emergency room, not knowing what's going on, thinking I'm having a heart attack. And
Right.
that's how full I would be with gas. They were gone. My symptoms were gone. I was like, wow. So just kind of going back, what I realized is that I was born with systemic candida. So candida is like a fungus, yeast, bacteria that grows naturally in the body. And we kind of have a symbiotic relationship, because some people are like, oh, I'm going to kill all my candida. I'm going to kill all my candida yeast. And it's like, whatever would kill all the yeast would kill you too. So you got to have a little bit. That's just how it is. But mine was out of control from birth. I had inherited it. And so I realized that my main diet of flour and sugar was the main diet of yeast.
That's
So
interesting. So hold on. So sis, tell me just a little bit more about, because I'm now, every time I have an interview, I'm thinking, is that what's going on with me too?
right,
Because
right.
I am
I
the
wish I had heard about this.
and so systemic candida, and
Mhm.
so it causes a lot of bloating, discomfort in the stomach, tiredness, feeling sleepy and weak. What else? Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Dry skin. So dry skin and flaky skin is another like signature feature of systemic candida. Brain fog is another. Um, Also, this is how you really know that your candida is out of balance. Because again, you're not going to get rid of it, but you do want it in balance. So candida is actually a living organism that is intelligent. So you could be doing everything right, eating your salads and your smoothies, working out, stretching, doing your whole thing. And then 9 o'clock at night, when the sun goes down, and you start thinking about the unthinkable: fast food, pizza, ice cream, Snickers bars. And that's because candida is nocturnal.
Wow.
And it causes
Okay.
nighttime cravings. And you think it's hunger, but it's not, it's cravings. And the distinction is, if you are hungry, you go get a cucumber, you drink some water, right? Just to get that fullness. But we don't want that. The candida does not want that. I call them our passengers. Our passengers, they don't want no cucumbers or lettuce. They're not having that. They want something sweet because they're very simple organisms and they want a simple sugar. And that's how they live. And so if you're doing everything right and at night you can barely contain yourself, you got to have some popcorn, you got to have some potato chips, anything starchy or sweet, that is a big sign that you got some kind of fungus, parasite, or candida that's out of control, that is hijacking your neural pathways to send you signals to go get them some food.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's that's amazing. Yeah, because that's one of the things that people would say, I don't know what's going on. I do all these things and I follow the steps and it seems like, but I just want, it gets to, like you said, nighttime or like those little midnight cravings. I just have to go in the fridge and see what's there. That's very interesting. So you ended up doing this program, Living Food Institute in Atlanta, and it's based on the principles. So it was founded by Brenda Cobb, who actually healed reversed her cancer through, after she studied herself, the principles of and Dr. Agnes Wigmore, and it was all about raw food, living foods, detoxing with foods, raw food, living foods, wheatgrass, alkaline water. So tell us some of the benefits. You talked about what happened with you, of course.
Mhm.
Tell us some of the benefits of detoxing in general.
Okay, so at the end of the program at
Mhm.
the Living Foods Institute, we had like graduation.
Right.
So for years, I've been wearing these giant muumuus to cover up my gut because I didn't know when I was going to have what I thought was, and what doctors now diagnose as IBS,
Mhm.
irritable bowel syndrome. I didn't know if my stomach was going to be bloated. I didn't know if I had to run to the bathroom. So I would always wear something really loose. My whole life was around it. But on graduation day, I had shed 10 pounds in 10 days.
10
And
pounds in 10 days.
yes, because
Wow.
most of it was water weight,
Mhm.
right? From the toxicity,
Mhm.
right? And waste.
Yeah.
And so I had slimmed down considerably. So I was in a tight little dress. I had just relegated myself to wear gym shoes because I had swollen ankles. I was in high heels on graduation day. So I lost that inflammation. I lost the water weight. I had clarity and I felt more joyous, just overall. And people were telling me I looked younger and I felt good. I got my energy back. I did not no longer needed to sleep, anywhere near 21 hours a day. I was finally digesting and absorbing my food because what had happened was the candida was so bad, and candida could be anywhere. We're mostly familiar with women having yeast infections, but candida can reside in your stomach, in your brain, and throughout your body. Any organ is susceptible to being infested with candida. And so mine just happened to be in my stomach and it was causing leaky gut, right? So the food that I would eat would go out into my bloodstream, and that caused my immune system to have to work overtime, and that was burning up all my energy.
Wow.
So
Okay.
once I detoxed my body, got my parasites low, got my fungus and candida low, then I was energized. I, reversed my aging. I lost weight. I felt better. I felt clearer. And I continued to do it until I lost overall 60 pounds. And it just became my lifestyle. I started having raw food parties. And I was a corporate trainer. Like I had nothing to do with the wellness world. I
Okay.
was just doing plant-based for myself. But this
Right.
class changed my whole trajectory because I was like, they were waiting on me with all this radiation surgery and medicine. And I figured it out with food. But one of the things about medicine is that every pharmaceutical is based on a botanical. So pharmaceutical drugs are based on plants. So if we eat the plants that have the nutrients, the body wants to heal itself. Like
That
I'll
is
hear a
so
lot of people
true.
talk, yeah. And people will talk about, oh, this heals you and this heals you. No, the body, it's just like when you get a paper cut. You don't have to do anything. If you're healthy, that paper cut it knows what to do. It's
Right.
just that we have so much garbage in our body. It's just like a bee sting,
Mm-hmm.
and you get all the swelling around the bee sting. It's like the body is trying to contain the toxin from the bee
Right.
sting, the venom, and that's the same thing with the water weight and the
Right.
fat. Our body makes more fat and makes more water to keep the toxins, and the toxins are in everything, not just in the food, in the environment, in the things
Yeah.
we put on our skin, the things we spray and clean our house with. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of kicked off a whole 180 for me.
Right.
I changed my whole lifestyle based on that class.
That's really good. Yeah, I have changed a lot, and a lot of things. I have my I did this little laundry detergent I've been using, and just different things, trying to step by step, change things around the house, and change things that we eat. And so tell us about the we talked about some of the benefits of detoxing, but what is detoxing done right? Because we hear a lot about detox teas and detox pills, and 3-day detox and detox challenge and all kind of detox, colon cleansing, and all those things. And but to me, it just seemed like, okay, well, I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to shed some pounds, and then yay, I detox. Okay, but that's not.
Right.
It's one of the things. It's part of the detox process to cleanse, to eliminate, but there's so much more to it. So tell us more about detoxing done right.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So first of all, I know I might ruffle a few feathers, but let's start with the colon. So as we age, a lot of people tend to get like this punch right in the front of
Mm-hmm.
their body. And it's like, oh, my stomach used to be flat in high school, and now I have this little pouch. It's like, oh, that's natural. That's how it is. And then so many people have it, right? A lot of guys have
Well,
these
okay, now
big bellies.
that's part of the aging process. You're going to have a little bit of
Right.
a gut.
And you hear, I mean, we just even made it a cute joke. Oh, he drinks beer belly or whatever. But let me tell you, so the food that we eat is not our natural food. And I was listening to a webinar myself not too long ago, and it really woke me up. I loved it because it said every other organism on the planet has a diet, and we're the only creature that goes on a diet,
Yeah.
because what we're eating is not real food for the most part.
Right.
Even bread has wood chips in it. Like what? Like everything that says it's enriched, it's
Mhm.
it, it's like it's not really a legal food without being enriched with other vitamins. Other
Yeah.
than that, it would be nutritionally void. So, especially the bread. And that's why I started by admitting about me being a pescatarian and eating a lot of bread, because it makes, remember when we were in kindergarten, how we made paste with
Yes.
water and flour? So, guess what? We got a lot of
Oh,
paste,
we have faith
a
in
lot
our
of, yeah, a
bodies.
lot of paste. And that's what's causing that pouch. That's
Hmm.
why I love, like, one of the things I learned about enemas really from my grandmother, but at the Living
Oh,
Food Institute, we definitely cleaned our colon, didn't we?
I didn't know anything about enemas, and I was like, we have to do what?
Yes, we have to
We
do it
have to do what?
ourselves.
But I'll tell you what happened to me. I said, I'm going to try everything, right? And so I said, okay, sign me up for my little wheatgrass enema thing, right? But it so happened that the day I said that, I started getting a headache. The whole afternoon I had a headache, right? And so I went home and I was tired. I was like, I don't even want to deal with this, and I don't even know what instructions, what I have to do. But I did it. And as soon as I put that thing in my, as soon as the headache went away, the headache went away right away. And I laid down for a while and whatever. And then I was like, My headache is gone. And through the whole thing, I continued, no more headache, no more issues. So that for me, that was, I was sold after that. I just continued. But the
Yeah.
first time I had never heard about it until then. And I was like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I know it's wild, but those are some of the remedies that
Yeah.
grandmothers taught, and they did, and it seemed like a punishment, but it's part
Mhm.
of deep detoxification. It's part of deep cellular detoxification because so we got all this pasty stuff sitting in our colon, making this
Yeah.
pouch, and it's on a mucous membrane. The colon is the mucous membrane, and anything mucous membrane inside your nose, inside your mouth, it's very absorbent. So this is all the stuff that your body already said, this is waste, I can't use it, get rid of it. But instead of getting rid of it, we got it in there reabsorbing, getting more and more sticky. And so the headache comes from all the toxins in our system. And especially, we'll have a little headache in the beginning of a detox because we're finally allowing the body to let go of the inflammation that's been protecting us, right? And so, yes, the teas and the pills, the senna, and most of them is the main ingredient is senna, will make you go to the bathroom. That's true. But let me tell you, you have to learn how to build your colon. Just making something run through you, that is not the way. The colonics and the Kalima board, that's what I use at home now. And the enema bags, they help build the muscle in your colon so that you can get that natural rhythm of your colon that will work to push things out. Just drinking a tea that makes you just go, you still have waste build up in the pockets. The colon is like very textured. And so that does not clean out all those seeds and pieces of food that get caught up in those pockets. And
Right.
so that's a quick solution, but it's like a band-aid on a festering wound. It's not going to clean your liver. It's not going to clean your pancreas. Give it a break. It's not going to help your kidney. And these are the things that we're really wanting to cleanse. So, I was happy to lose 60 pounds, but really I thought I was fine. Like I consider myself black chick thick. I was good. I wasn't trying to lose weight. But
I
what I
like
realized from detoxing is that weight was there to protect me from poisoning myself. And I didn't even
that.
realize it.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so people are like, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. It's like, no, baby, you want to get healthy and detox because
Right.
you're at
So
the right weight.
because your weight is actually there for a purpose.
Right.
But if you just lose the weight, you can actually have some other effects that you're not expecting. But if you're detoxing, and you will lose weight, because detoxing is about creating this balance really in the body, getting everything right in order, running in order. And so you will lose weight because you're not supposed to have all this weight. But for now you have the weight because of different inflammation and different things your body is trying to protect you. That's
Absolutely.
that's very interesting.
Absolutely. Hmm. I totally agree. So my first detox was 41 years old at the Living Foods Institute with raw food. And so I loved it. I know that there's so many different ways to go, water fast and juice fasting and all this. But for me, a person who was used to having 3 to 5 meals a day, going from zero, from 60 to zero, like that wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
So on a raw food diet, I was never hungry. In fact, with the energy soup, the
Mhm.
salads, and the gourmet raw food we had, I mean, I couldn't eat like I was eating. I was satiated much quicker.
Yes.
And so that kind of led over the years, eating raw food kind of led me to intermittent fasting because I would wake up good. Like I wouldn't be hungry until much later. And
Right.
so that's when your cells and your organs are fed nutritionally.
Mhm.
So many of the diseases that we're dealing with are because we might be eating a lot of food, but it's like eating a lot of cotton candy. It doesn't have anything
Right.
in it. It's voluminous, it's big, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have really the value
The
that we need.
nutrition that you need, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like building a house, you know,
Mhm.
like we have the blueprint. Our DNA is the blueprint. And if we don't have the, you know, the tools, and the tools are the nutrition. But the body has the skills to map the nutrition and put it where it
Yes.
needs to go and repair the body. And one of the worst things I think, because so much of our diet is based on flour, based on sugar, based on high fructose corn syrup, and all these things, like diabetes is an epidemic, especially in the African American community. And
Yeah.
part of it is that the pancreas is just overworked. So that's one of the things that I learned, you know, researching raw food, was to use the raw sweet potato to
Mm.
help support the pancreas, as well as pulling back on, you know, all the foods that spike our blood sugar. But doing raw food, which people are like, what's that raw food? A lot of people say
Yes,
raw
I was going to ask you because raw sweet potato, that's not how we eat sweet potato.
food.
Sweet
Right.
potato pie, candy yam. Now you're talking about raw sweet potato. How does that work?
Yeah, in fact, one of the recipes in my book is sweet potato dream pie.
Ooh, okay,
It's
okay. And
complete
guys, if you want a copy of this book, there's a free copy up for grabs, okay? So sweet potato green pie, cream
sweet
pie,
dream pie, yes.
green pie.
And so, yes, you know, one of the reasons why we cook our food, which breaks down the fiber and makes it into sugar, is because, you know, it's hard. Like sweet potatoes are very hard. They're one of the hardest things to cut, right? But now we have tools, we have blenders, we have food processors, we have shredders, we have spiralizers. We can get the texture we need without firing it up with heat. And so that keeps all the enzymes. So that's the number one reason why people end up going raw, is because after 30, 35, the average American who's been eating 90% cooked foods is enzyme deficient, digestive enzyme deficient. And so enzymes are the chemical keys that break down our nutrients and make them available to us, right? But guess what? Raw food, every raw food has its own enzyme. So it's not taxing the body. So tomatoes have tomato enzymes, lettuce have lettuce enzymes. And it's like, wow, the pancreas, which is also responsible for monitoring the glucose and keeping, you know, the insulin levels in check, it also has another big job to make digestive enzymes. Well, by the time we're 30, 35, our pancreas is tired. It's been making all these enzymes. But when you switch to raw food, the pancreas like, huh, I can rest. I can relax. I can heal. And that's one of the reasons why our waistlines get bigger and bigger and bigger, because the pancreas is working so hard. Our pancreas now is twice the size that it was in the turn of the century in human beings.
Wow, wow.
Because it's
But but
working
but
so
tell me,
hard.
but tell me one thing though, because we're talking about raw food, which
Mhm.
I have grown to love. But is it does it have to be all raw? It is just salad. And you talked about sweet potato. That's a whole dessert. That looks really, really good. But is it is it just salads and greens, cold? Everything has to be cold.
Here's a spicy red pepper soup.
So
Delicious.
how is the soup raw? The soup is,
So
hot.
again, now we have our tools, right? So I have a Vitamix, which is a high horsepower blender,
Mhm.
and I can make this spicy red pepper soup in my blender in 5 minutes, and its rotation is so fast. I can bring it to room temperature, right? I can bring it to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and it feels warm. So another factor of raw food is that you keep your food under 115 degrees.
Right.
Well, the reason why we do that is because at 115 degrees, the enzymes start breaking down. So I can heat this soup up to 110 degrees in the blender and it's warm because I'm the same way. I don't like cold food. So I bring my food to room temperature. One of my another favorite is the tune-up salad. So I make a lot of almond milk for my children. They love cereal. And say, I'll take the pulp from the almond and I'll make like a tuna salad, right? A mock tuna salad. And, but I don't want it cold. I bring it out, I let it come to room temperature, and and it's delicious. I mean, it has a little seaweed in it, so it tastes very fishy.
Yeah,
So it tastes
oh,
just like
I love
fish.
seaweed. And I love, yeah, all those things that you can do with it, to make things, taste like like fish, seaweed,
Mhm.
dulce, and those things, yeah, to get
Yes.
that taste that you may miss or that you're looking for. And that's really interesting. So okay, so the tools are important, right?
Mhm.
Kitchen tools are important, but can I do this? Can I start today if I don't have the right blender? Because I've said that to people, and I myself, I don't have all the tools yet. It's been a year, and I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I get this and that. But it gets to where you're like, well, some people get discouraged because they feel like, well, when I get the tools, then I'll start. Or I don't have the budget, or I can't do this. So I can't detox raw. I can't do the right type of detox. I can't eat healthy just altogether because I
Right.
don't have, what those people are using in their kitchen. So do you have recipes or do you have tips for people with just a cutting board and a knife?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I definitely recommend a good knife and a good cutting board. That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And honestly, like now I have my Vitamixes, but
Mm.
before I just had a $20 Oster.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
if I'm just being honest, because I use it every day to make my energy soup and
Right.
I burned out of quite a few of them. And
Yeah.
that's what happened. Like I was buying $20 Osters at Kroger's. And
Mm.
so a refurbished Vitamix was like, I don't know, 250 at the time. And
Mm.
so I had bought 5 Osters in about a year. And I was like, hey, I'm halfway to a Vitamix. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I just went on and got the Vitamix. And
Yeah.
so I do understand, it's a whole different lifestyle. But
Mhm.
really, when you think about it, when you go out to eat, you go to, Red Lobster or whatever, I mean, you're going to spend 50 or $60 on one bad meal. And when I say bad, I mean not good for you meal. It might taste good, but it's not good for you, right? So you just take a couple of those, and you transfer it to, a good knife, a good cutting board, a shredder. You can get a shredder for like $5. I've seen them at the dollar store. And you can use your shredder. What I love to do with the shredder is to shred, and this is one of my favorite recipes, Rockstar Greens. When you see I have shredded sweet potatoes. I know
Mm.
they probably look like carrots, but they're
Yes,
sweet potatoes.
I thought it was carrots.
Yep, sweet potatoes, because we meaning people who could possibly be pre-diabetic from a history of loving flour and sugar and sweet things, um, have to support our pancreas. And that raw sweet potato, you can also put it in a blender, you can shred it. You saw I made a pie out of it. I mean, it's very versatile. And I've seen a lot of people who are doing low carb. They'll take a sweet potato and they'll slice it and use it like bread, or use it like a cracker, use it in dip, in hummus, or put other things on top of it. So very,
Nice.
very versatile. So yeah, I would say ultimately, just like we have a good stove and we have a good refrigerator, and we want to get good tools. In the beginning, just start small. But think about it. If I'm transitioning into this as a lifestyle, all it's going to take is a couple of outings, right, to pay
Mhm.
for it, to finance it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said about the seaweed, so we don't really know about seaweed, Americans. Like we might know a little bit about the nori wrap with this with the sushi,
Mhm.
but that is something that's very important for the iodine. So especially so many Black people have high blood pressure, so we let go of table salt. Well, when you let go of table salt, you really don't have a source of iodine. And the danger of that is that you start to starve out your thyroid. The thyroid has got to have its iodine. In fact, in the middle of the country, the places in the Midwest, it's like a smile. They show it on the map, and it's called the Gorder Belt because people are far from the sea. They're not getting seafood or seaweed, and they're getting no iodine, and it's causing people to get goiters, which is a feature of thyroid disease. And our thyroid is the command center of our body. It commands our temperature, our hormones, our sexuality, our weight, everything. So when the
Wow.
thyroid start acting up, it's a problem. But when you're doing raw food, you're using seaweed, you're substituting seaweed for that flavor, but it's also functional. And so that's what raw food is a part of this whole functional medicine movement.
Right, right. That's awesome. You guys, if you have any questions for Carla, go ahead and drop in the comments. And again, don't forget to tag people to this video so you guys can get a free book. So give us some more tips or things that we can add to
Sure.
our diet. And I've heard some people say, okay, I'm 100% raw, or I'm 80/20, or this and that. You know, again, how can we get started
Mhm.
detoxing our body, eating things that are actually actively detoxing and building us?
Right. So the first 3 days are crucial because although we talked about the parasites and the fungus and how much they can cause the cravings, if we're really diligent, the first 3 or 4 days in a detox, as we transition, their cries get quieter and quieter on our nervous system. So, I would say just step out there, make a commitment to yourself. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, raw food, I really don't have any ideas. Well, first of all, there's so many recipes, and every cooked food recipe can be rawdified, can be
Oh,
rocked out.
okay. You rocked out. I like how
Yeah,
you did the raw. I was reading this. I was not reading this as rocks before.
oh
But yeah,
yeah,
so every food, every recipe can be rocked out. I like that.
right. But this is one of the ones that I said, okay, God, if you want me to be raw, you got to find me a substitute for macaroni and cheese.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking.
So this is my McMazing macaroni and cheese recipe. So this is actually like this is a squash. So this is a yellow squash that I just kind of cut into these curved. Well, it already has a curve to it, right?
Mhm.
And I just kind of cut it into macaroni looking slices. And I use nutritional yeast, which is fortified in vitamin B12. Um, Turmeric for the color, nutritional yeast tastes like cheese, lemon juice for a little bit of that sharpness, Himalayan salt, it has the minerals and the saltiness that we have, and mixed it up with a little bit with the rest of the yellow squash that I didn't use for the noodles, and made a sauce and just poured over that. And
Mm.
so that's the thing. We have to find a way to replace that palette. So this is what's so exciting to me. So I read this book called The Dorito Effect. Have you heard of it?
No, tell me about that. Or
Oh my
tell us
gosh.
about it.
So it talks about it's called the Dorito effect, and it talks about the effect of the development of synthetic foods and how synthetic foods have tricked us into eating nutrient void foods, right?
Mhm.
So we eat it one Dorito, and all the flavors are synthetic, just like perfumes are synthetic. Like you put on some perfume, you smell like jasmine, but no jasmine flower had nothing to do with that. That's all chemical. Doritos, right? Same
Yeah, that's
thing.
true.
You eat a Dorito, and your brain, right? Remember we talked about how the brain knows how to map those minerals and enzymes and vitamins. It's like it knows how to do it. You eat a Dorito and it's like, ooh, cumin, ooh, turmeric, ooh, garlic, ooh, onions. And so it translates. It says, okay, well, that means we got copper, manganese coming. We got some, vitamin D. Like it starts calculating all the nutrients that it should be getting from these tastes. That's what the brain does. So smart.
Hmm.
But then guess what? It's like a few minutes later, it's like, hey, what happened to the copper? What
Where is
happened
it?
to the manganese? What happened to the magnesium? What happened? What happened? We didn't get it. And
Wow,
so
I
what
didn't know
happens
that.
is it creates a negative feedback loop. So what do we
Mhm.
do? We're like, I think I need another.
Right.
And then another. And then another. Next thing you know, we ate the whole bag and
Wow.
still hungry because we
I
need
need
no
to look this up.
nutrition.
That's really good because we talk a lot about, and I talked about that before, the salt, sugar, and fat, but there's even beyond that, the actual taste or the different synthetic taste that they put in the food that mimics those the natural ingredients and the herbs and things that we're supposed to that our body wants. So our brain actually says, oh, this is coming my way. Okay, we're going to share it to everybody. And then it doesn't come. And you say, hold on, come on, just give it to me again. Give me some more.
Right.
And you eat more and more, and you eat the whole bag, and you're still not nourished.
Nothing,
Right.
nothing. And
Wow.
so, but the secret is just
Mm-hmm.
how they tricked us
Mm-hmm.
into being addicted to this void food. We
Yeah.
can do the same trickery with
Yeah.
kale. We can
Okay.
do the same trickery with almond pulp,
Yeah.
right? We
Doesn't
can do the
sound
same
the same, but
trickery with raw food.
it
Like
is
that
true.
is the
Yeah.
legacy of our people for
Mm-hmm.
500 years. We brought here with this food that we didn't recognize, and we made it and made it taste good. And so the key is that these herbs and spices, they're vegetables, they're dehydrated plants. And that's where all the nutrients lie. The plants, we are so reliant on the plants on this planet, but they don't rely on us. They don't need us, but we need them.
Yeah.
And so the dried onion, that is that onion powder, that's a plant. Garlic, same thing, that's a plant. All the basil and rosemary and thyme, all these are herbs. And when you gently dehydrate them, now they're concentrated, because
Mm-hmm.
that's why we love it, because that's where we're getting our nutrients from, not those noodles. We ain't getting nothing from those noodles. It's everything that goes on the noodles. And so that gives us a hint of what we should be concentrating on. So we can use those same intense, concentrated, dehydrated flavors in their organic form, getting organic spices and put that on plant food, right? Plant food that will actually give us what we need
Mm-hmm.
to support our body's healing. So just to give you some examples, going back to the raw food and helping people get the concept. So yes, you can make so many soups. Salsa, right? That's a raw food.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Guacamole, that's a
Mm-hmm.
raw food.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I realized in raw food. It's like, it's the texture. If something is really loose, it's a soup. If it's more thick, then it's more like a dip, but it can be the exact same thing. Another thing that Ann Wigmore really, really emphasized is that greens are our natural food. Now, again, greens don't taste like Doritos, but we
Mm-hmm.
can make them taste like Doritos. We totally can make some kale chips that taste better than Doritos, right?
Yeah, with
But we
just the right spices going on them.
exactly. And so the green, so I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you're going plant-based. Oh, you're not going to have enough protein." Even doctors will say, "Oh, you're going to be protein deficient." I haven't heard about anybody being protein deficient. What I hear about is diabetes, high blood pressure,
Going
hypertension,
away.
heart attacks. Right. I don't hear about, oh, she died because she ain't eat enough chicken wings. Nah, never heard that. And the fallacy is that you need complete protein from meat sources. No, what proteins are a combination of amino acids. Where do the amino acids come from? Greens. Where do the animals get their protein from? They get it from the amino acid from eating grass. And what's the best animals to eat? Grass fed. Well, don't eat the animals that were grass fed. Just feed
Just eat
yourself
the
with grass.
grass. Eat the grass.
Our
Yeah,
grass is
yeah.
spinach, collards, turnips,
Mhm.
right? Those are our grasses, right? So I just love, this is my passion. This is what I've dedicated my life to, helping people get down this path to support their body. I can't tell you how many hours I wasted in emergency room, wasted not going to work, in bed, feeling bad, low energy. And so I want to take that time that I'm recovering to spread the word. And in October, I'm working with 3 other friends who are wellness coaches as well. And we're doing a webinar. And so I will drop the webinar information in the chat when
Yes,
we
please,
get off.
please, please do
Mhm.
that. So let's
Yeah.
summarize a little bit. It's almost to the end of the hour already. It went so fast. But so let's summarize a little bit. Um, if you have symptoms like just any chronic disease, really,
Mhm.
and if you are, tired, bloated, low energy, if you have any chronic disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, um, multiple sclerosis, dementia, anything like that, there is value in detoxing. But then there are detox methods that are going to give you the best result. And raw food and living food. We don't talk about living food. What is a living food? Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so the distinction between raw food and living food is that with raw food, it's raw. It hasn't been cooked, it hasn't been fired up to 115 degrees, like we said earlier. But with living food, it's actually living. So those are sprouts, bean sprouts. You can actually sprout chickpeas and lentils and mung beans and so many different species of beans that you can sprout, and you could eat them, but you could also plant them and they would grow a whole nother plant, and that's what makes them living. Right?
Right,
And then
right, right.
also there's like sunflower sprouts. Again, if you didn't eat that sunflower sprout and you kept that root system together from it, you can put it and it would grow and make a huge 8-foot sunflower. So sunflower sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, and people are like, alfalfa sprouts, that's for horses. It's like, yeah, look at horses. They ain't missing no meals.
They're toned, right? They don't have
They are
extra fat.
athletes. Those things are powerhouses. So that lets you
Yeah,
know, if a horse can live off of alfalfa and alfalfa sprouts, come on, man, we can do this. We can do
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So
That's
that is
amazing.
the
That's amazing.
distinction.
So raw food, living foods, and there are so many recipes online, and there are recipes in your book. You showed us some that is very tasty, and so there are things that we can try. Some people might say, well, I'm not ready to go all the way or do a full detox, but that doesn't mean that you can't add a recipe, add a
Right.
meal. This day, today, one day of the week, Mondays, I'm going to eat raw, or I'm going to do my dinners raw, for example. That's a good way to
Right.
kind of calm down and nourish, for nighttime. So there
Yeah,
are different
definitely.
things that you can do to start incorporating raw food, living foods in your day to day in your diet, and then definitely detoxing is very important, especially if you are ill already.
Yeah,
Just
because
go
your
all the
body
way.
gets taxed. Our body
Yeah.
gets so taxed from, we were talking about just environmental poisons. And there's one woman, and I forgot her name. It's Barbara, but she has a story of losing 150 pounds off of being raw, only 50%. So she lost
Mhm.
150 pounds in a year. And then she went
Wow.
on to teach raw food and hold raw food retreats. She's on the West Coast. And
Mhm.
she was actually an attorney.
Mhm.
And she had such a stressful job, and she had gained all this weight from emotional eating.
Yeah.
And she was not even 100% raw. So yes, don't be, scared and say, oh, I can't just eat raw, cold, tasteless sprout. It's nothing like that. You could just do 50%. And I love what you said about eating the raw food in the afternoon, right? In the evening versus the morning, because if you're just going to eat raw food once a day, then you'll have that bulk that'll make you feel full, and you won't be feeding your passengers, which are
Yeah,
half the
passengers, that's a nice way to call them. So tell us about, so if we want to dive in, or if we just want advice or anything, how can we reach you? What is your program? You're going to drop the link for the seminar in the comment. Just tell us what you offer, what's out there for us.
So I do coaching. I do wellness coaching one-on-one, and I do virtual classes. So we'll have the next webinar will be starting October 22nd. Right now, we're in early bird registration. So it's a 4-week series. You get a raw food detox, a 21-day detox. And you also get the Nourished Plate. You get a report on the number one unsuspecting habit that is hurting your health. So we take care of you. And right now it's $77 until the end of the month, and then it'll go up to $99. And then a week before the webinar, we'll cut it off so people can come and engage with me on the digital webinar. I have retreats. In fact, before all this crazy stuff, we were planning to go to Egypt, because I'm also a
Whoa.
Kemetic yogi and I
Oh
teach
no.
Kemetic yoga. And I wanted to do our yoga in front of the pyramids. So we'll have to do that in the future. But you just go to my website, which is rawxit.com, RawXit.com, and just get on my mailing list. I will keep you informed of my events and my classes, and my books are available. And also, if you just want to call me, 770-413-9046, Carla De Rosa.
All right, she made herself completely available to you guys. Look, October 22nd, I was counting. I'm like, by mid-November, you guys could be on a completely different path. 21 days, starting October 22nd, for less than $100. All the information that you need. That alone, that is, yeah, there's no comparison to that. That's wonderful. The book is still up for grabs. So our first giveaway, we are going to extend it to today. Whoever puts the most comments today, and then that's for the Rocket book. And then the second book, whoever puts the most not comments, but just tagging people really during the week. We're going to promote this video all week. And so if I see, I'm going to tally who is commenting, and I'll give you guys, give Carla your information so that she can send you those books for free, completely free. We're going to drop the webinar, her website, everything, so you guys can get started. I will tell you from experience, I'm going to find, because I know I was posting a lot of my pictures of my food when I was doing the detox. I'm going to post some of those foods. It is a nutritious, but so tasty. So it was so good. It's and I still do, my salads and stuff now. I like to sprinkle on my stuff on the
Yeah,
salad.
my favorite was the lasagna. Did you make the lasagna? Did you learn
Yes,
that?
yes,
Yes.
the lasagna was amazing, and it had that taste, a cheesy taste to it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I was like, how are you going to layer
We learn
these
how to make
nuts
those
and the
good cheeses,
zucchinis,
right? Yes.
and there was no cheese. And one of the things that you feel satisfied, but you feel energized. You feel satisfied, but not full and tired, and it's weighing on your stomach. You actually feel energized and you want to go do things. You're not just sitting around and going to wanting to go to sleep. And yeah, that was the most. I did it after because I was very tired, postpartum. I just had a baby, third baby, and then it was just going downhill. And I was like, I need something. And my husband was like, well, look for something that you're just interested in. And so I looked up vegan stuff, and I went to a meeting, and the next thing you know, I was doing the detox, and I never ate so much and ate so well.
Right. Like
So
it's not about starving with the raw food diet.
no, and that's what I like, because we always think about going on a diet. I have to count my calories. I cannot eat this. I cannot. But there's a way to get healthy, lose weight, get energized, balance everything, to get rid of those chronic disease by just eating your heart out. 'Cause
Yes.
you
And
can't,
what I love
yeah.
about it, you can eat your greens, you can eat your macaroni and cheese and your sweet potato pie.
Yeah, it's all
On
together. I
a
mean,
raw
we had
food.
uh,
Yes.
yeah, the dessert. I mean, everything is just so good. So, guys, it is definitely worth looking into. We have to go. We're at the top of the hour, but thank you so much,
Thank
Paula.
you,
I
Julian.
knew it was gonna be good, and thank you for sharing all this insight, guys. I'm looking for tags and comments, and we are going to put all the information in the comments for you guys. Is there is no it's never too late to start. You started in your 40s, which I love because I'm getting there.
Yeah,
That's my
52
whole thing.
now.
That's why I started this 39 down, I call it. It's
Okay.
just, I'm 39 this year, and I need to make a change. I need to get into what I'm really interested in and live fully and really enjoy, feel good, feel energized. And so it's never too late. If it's not 39, it's 49, it's
It's
whatever.
never too late.
There is always time to change and to make the change and enjoy what you're eating and have energy again. This is so exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Delianne. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.